Hi, my name is Jess and welcome to For Me To You Video Photography and Book Reviews YouTube channel. This is my yearly, this is the second year that I've done it on YouTube at least, but since 2011 I've done my thankful book list of all the 5-star reads that I've personally been thankful for reading for this year. And this year is the second year that I've included other booktubers around. If you want to check out last year's, it's linked up above. But this is, I have including myself, I have 9 booktubers in total that have decided on sharing what novels that they're thankful for reading this year. And here we go.
Hey Jess, it's Bree, and the book that I am really thankful that I read in 2019, hands down, is Rebel by Beverly Jenkins. I will recommend this book or Beverly Jenkins's books at any opportunity that presents itself, but this follows Valinda, and she was born and raised in New York, and she has traveled to New Orleans during Reconstruction to help teach newly freed people of color how to read. And the part about this book that I feel like got me the most was that I was reading it and I kept asking myself, why would she stay in this city? It's so dangerous. It's so racist. Amongst people of color, there's this class system and colorism was a thing. Like, it was just such a dangerous place to be. And the series is called Women Who Dare. And I kept reminding myself that as I was reading this book. And I had to remember that Valinda has went to New Orleans with intention. She wants to help people and she has this purpose, and I had to realize like her purpose is so much bigger than her location and where she is and all the danger that surrounds her. So it's just a wonderful book. I think about required reading lists, and it's books like these that Beverly Jenkins has written that I question all the time why this isn't on someone's required reading list. It's full of history. It's so flawlessly woven into the story. Beverly Jenkins really transports you to whatever time period she chooses to write at the time, because she does her research and she just masterfully puts it into the story to where you really feel like you are there. So yeah, I definitely had to take a step. I definitely had to take a moment when I finished this book, and I was just like, wow, it's called the Women Who Dare series for a reason. Valinda did not have to be where she was, but she dared to be there. Her purpose was bigger than herself, and it was wonderful. It was just really a beautiful story. So I'm so thankful that I read it this year.
Hi, I'm Nichi from I_read past my bedtime. Jess so kindly asked me to be a part of her amazing video project, and of course I couldn't say no. What books am I most thankful for 2019? Honestly, the bookworm that I am, I could say all of them. I had a fantastic reading year, and it's not even over yet. There may be many more before the year end. But the one book I am going to mention today not only was extremely impactful, it still lingers in my thoughts to this day. And the author also is a huge part of the community, and he deserves all the love that he can get. He is a fantastic indie author who has quite a few pieces out, and I have read a lot of his work, and I'm never disappointed when I read one of his books. And that is Lost in the Clouds by R.K. Gold. This story was extremely impactful, and for such a short read, it had so many memorable pieces in there that will really get you thinking and that will stick with you. As you can see, I have tabbed quite a few areas, and honestly, a lot of times when I'm making decisions in my day-to-day life, this book pops into my mind and makes me think, am I doing the right thing in this very moment? Lost in the Clouds is absolutely brilliant, and I would recommend it to anybody to read. Thank you so much, Jess, for asking me to be a part of this project. Happy reading, everyone.
I am the Booktube Goddess, the #1 drag queen booktuber on YouTube. Now, what do I have to be thankful for? Thank you for asking me, Jess. I am thankful for Rachel Marie. Why? Because she introduced me to my first themed readathon, the Book Junkie Trials. And because of the Book Junkie Trials, I read some books that I otherwise never would have read, and some of them were really great reads. For example, I would never have read Burr by Gore Vidal, even though I like Gore Vidal's writing. I was never moved to read one of his historical fiction books, but I really enjoyed the story about Aaron Burr, the founding father who shot Alexander Hamilton. The book turns American history on its head. Thank you for that. I also never would have read Forget Me Not by Ellie Terry, a middle grade story told in poetry interspersed with prose about a young girl with Tourette's syndrome who moves to a new school and finds a friend who has issues dealing with her condition. It's really a beautiful book, and I thank you for that. And also, because of Rachel Marie, and when I started looking through her other videos, she had endless praise for Middle Game by Shannon McGuire. I would never have read the book. I didn't know anything about it. And yes, it was a super hyped book, but in this case, I thought the hype was worth it. It is a contemporary novel of speculative fiction combining elements of horror and sci-fi and fantasy about powerful mystic twins who are separated at birth and are slowly drawn together. Well, what a book. So thank you, Rachel Marie. You helped make reading and 2019 really a wonderful experience. May all the books you read be blessed.
Hello, I'm Stephanie, and the wonderful Jess asked me to provide you guys with a book recommendation that I am thankful for the year of 2019. And that book that I'm going to recommend for you guys to read I'm very thankful for is Landon and Shay, Part 1 by Brittany C. Cherry. I am very thankful for this book, even though it is a YA contemporary. It's not something that I normally read, but this book is such a great book for a parent to read. In the story, you have two individuals that end up being together. One is the bad boy, one is the quiet and sort of reserved female character, and the two of them, they're in high school. All of this happens while they're in high school, but so many of the issues that are touched on within this story are very prevalent here in today's society, and it really made me look at the way that I parent and how I react to my child, and I really enjoyed this. It left me crying in public, and I just thought it was a wonderful read. So I am very thankful for this book, and think you guys should check it out.
Hi everyone, my name is India, and today I am so happy to be a part of this video by Jess to talk about some books that I am thankful for this year in 2019. Of course, I'm thankful for Jess and all of you. But some of the books that I am most thankful for in 2019 are Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert, Over the Top, A Raw Journey to Self-Love by Jonathan Van Ness. Also, I'm Not Dying With You Tonight by Kimberly Jones and Gilly Segal. Also, sorry, I'm going through my list, y'all. I'm going through my list, like always. Oh, The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. That was a good one. Some far back in there include, I would have to say, Challenge by Amy Dawes. That kind of introduced me into sports romance this year. And I would conclude this with Princess in Theory by Alyssa Cole, which also brought me really into the romance world. So there are definitely probably more books that I am thankful for, but those are some of the ones that truly stand out to me this year in 2019. Oh, and Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron. So those are some of the ones that stand out to me in 2019. So thank you to all of you, and thank you to Jess for putting this video together. So yeah, that's it. That's India from Life as a Page Turner. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Hi everyone, it's Nicole from Who Picked This Book? And here are 5 books that I read in 2019 that I'm thankful for. The first book on my list is Indigo by Beverly Jenkins. It follows our main female protagonist, Hester Wyatt, as she escapes slavery and becomes a dedicated member of the Underground Railroad in Michigan, during which she meets a man known as the Black Daniel. He is one of the most prestigious conductors in the Underground Railroad network. Everyone knows his name, and he shows up to Hester's cellar, beaten and very badly injured, to which she offers care. It's all about their relationship and how they overcome all the trials and tribulations and how they help others during a time when slavery was very present in the United States. What I loved about this book is not only is it a very well-written romance, Beverly Jenkins is also incredibly historically accurate. Tons of research go into historical works, and you learn so much when reading it. The next book I'm thankful for is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. As many of you know, this is a very hyped book on BookTube and BookTwitter. It is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And what I love about Beauty and the Beast retellings is that there is that underlying theme that loving someone for who they truly are on the inside, not how they look, not their physical appearance. What is also really cool about this book is that Harper has cerebral palsy, so there is great representation in this book. Next two books I have are by the same author, Night Road and Firefly Lane. These are by Kristen Hanna. You might recognize that name from The Nightingale. That was a very hyped book when it first came out. It is a World War II historical. These two books are contemporary. Night Road follows a mom and her two kids as they go to school. They befriend a girl who is new to town, and during their senior year, something very tragic happens. And in Firefly Lane, you follow two best friends over 30 years. Their ups and downs, trials, tribulations, everything that they overcome. What I love about these two books is they have a theme of forgiveness. Things might happen that you cause inadvertently, or someone might do something to hurt you and you want to get back at them, or you want to hold that grudge. But what these two books make you realize is at the end of the day, family is family. Friends are friends, and when it comes to the true horrors that you could face, having your family and your friends by your side is more important than any slight that they might have caused you, if you truly love that person. And the last book I want to talk about is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. This book is truly a coming-of-age story. You follow Aristotle and Dante as they go through life and the struggles of a teenager and not really fitting in, not really being what society tells you should be. And even though that there is suffering, if you find out who you truly are, you will be so much happier than pretending to be someone that you're not. So those are 5 books that I read in 2019 that I am truly thankful for. I'll see you next time, avid readers.
Hey y'all, it's Jen, and my channel is Iffer's Inklings. I am so thankful that Jess has invited me to share the books that I am thankful for out of 2019. Now, I've read 124 books this year so far, and 42 of those I've given 5-star ratings to. I have picked out 5 books that are the standout books, in my opinion, of those 42 5-star books. So the first book is Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes. This is just such an impactful and moving story about education and what we think about intelligence and people who are less intelligent than average or higher intelligence than average, and how being on either end of the spectrum really affects the quality of your life and the relationships around you. The second book is Fell Until You Don't, Fight, Grind, Repeat by Bobby Bones. Now, you may know Bobby Bones as the country music radio personality, or you may know him from Dancing with the Stars or American Idol. This book is kind of about how he's achieved success, even though he is kind of mediocre at stuff. He's not a great singer, he's not a great comedian, he's not a great dancer, but he has still succeeded, and it's just because he has got the motto of you have to fight, you have to grind, and you have to repeat that, because you've got to be able to fail and fail and fail and be okay with that until you don't fail anymore. The third book is Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's really kind of my life motto that no matter where you are in life, there's always going to be something happens, and then you could have gone in 2 different directions, and you have to choose which way you take your life. And this explores that pivotal moment, what either of those paths would have looked like for the main character in this book. The Next book, book number 4, is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. And this is just such a wonderfully written and told story that you can't help but get sucked into Kaya's life. That you get drawn into the backwater marshes of South Carolina. The final book I'm going to talk about today is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. This book is just a cute adult romance. Thank you for listening to me talk about the books that I'm thankful for this year. And I hope you found at least one book that you may pick up. Again, Jess, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your thankful list.
Hello friends, I'm Serenity Dawn and I'm from the channel This Story. I'm going to briefly share with you books that have meant a lot to me and that I'm super thankful for in 2019. The first of which I actually finished today, and that is A Song for a Will by Lynn Kelly. Now, this book is a contemporary middle grade, but don't let that fool you because this book is full of heart. It has such an important story and message and is so beautiful, and I just want everybody who hasn't read it to read it because it is so good. It is about a girl who is deaf and has recently lost her beloved grandfather, and her family and her social sphere is void of other people who are deaf, with the exception of her grandmother and her interpreter at school. And so she has no peers and no other family who can relate on the same level. And because of the recent loss and things that have happened, she's struggling. And one day her science teacher shares with the class a whale who sings on a different frequency than all the other whales in the ocean. And so she makes it her mission to try to find a way to communicate with this whale to let him know that he is not alone. And the story just takes off from there, and it is absolutely wonderful. And there are just so many themes and beautiful moments. I cried multiple times while reading this book because it was just so touching and precious and important. And if you haven't read it, I highly recommend that you pick it up. Don't delay, because it is such a great book full of relationships and the struggles that relationships are. They are messy at best and disastrous at worst. And this book highlights that, and it is beautiful. It is so beautiful. So pick it up if you haven't. Just go. The second book that I want to share with you is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. And this is a science fiction fantasy book. It is technically beautiful. The plot is fantastic. The characters are phenomenal. It is just a well-rounded book. But the reason why I am mentioning this one today and why I'm so thankful for it is because I'm just super thankful of when I read this book. It just came into my life at the perfect time. I read it at the beginning of the year when I was going through a lot of stuff with my family, and we were experiencing a lot of difficulty with my dad's health, and some scary and devastating things were just happening. And so I'm just thankful for the beauty that is this book and the fun adventure and the fantastic story. It gets you in the feels a couple of times, and it is so funny. I did recently reread this book as a buddy read with a friend a couple weeks ago, and it was just as good the second time around. So if you enjoy a good story and good characters, or even a hate to admiration trope, you need to check out Skyward.
Hi, I'm back. Again, my name's Jess. So this is also a collaboration with my book list that I put out every year since 2011, like I believe I mentioned at the beginning of this video. So I want to share at least a few highlights. Right now, this year, 2019's book list, I have 10 books that I rated 5 stars. I'm not going to list them all here, and I have better descriptions of part of my book reviews on my website. So it's being listed on Thanksgiving 2019, so check it out. It's all linked down below. So, but the highlighted ones I want to mention on here the first one's going to be The Governess Gone Rogue by Laura Lee Guthrie, Gerke. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. It's her book 3 in her Dear Lady True Love series, and I really enjoyed it because it is a historical romance, but it has a contemporary style, so it's like this contemporary style got stuck into 19th century London. And it's also, I was completely charmed by the characters, but I really enjoyed it because if you've been onto my channel before, I am not a fan of Beauty and the Beast retellings. It's actually linked above if you want to hear a rant on that. But this one actually is one of the few Beauty and the Beast retellings that I really enjoy, and I highly recommend this one. Another one I highly recommend is Waiting for Tom Hanks by Carrie Winfrey. This one I have a full book review vlog. It's linked up above on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. And I really love this, and I recommend it to anybody who loves rom-com romances. And you have to be a true rom-com lover for this because it has some steamy parts, but it's fade to black. But the thing is that it's all about really wanting to have that epic moment and those epic scenes and those special times. And she kind of comes to the conclusion that is that really what love is about. So I love how Annie goes about I love her story arc and the plot for this whole novel. And it's one of the few novels that I've read recently that's been a first-person perspective the whole way through that I've thoroughly enjoyed. No, that's basically it. Yeah, I just loved how this one was laid out. And if anything, I would recommend, what I have to say mostly is that I loved its ending the most. If you can, there are a bit of slow points, but if you can pull through to the end, I really love the twist that happens. Another highlight I want to say is Cold Heart, Warm Cowboy by Caitlin Crew. It's book 2 in her Cold River Ranch series. I read this as a standalone and I had no issues with reading it that way, but it's all about Hannah and Ty. And they basically he's in the rodeo as a bull rider, and he gets amnesia. And when he gets amnesia, he completely forgets his 2-year, it might have been less than 2 years, but he forgets his relationship that he ever had with Hannah. And that gets to a lot of big issues because they get into a fight right around the time that he gets amnesia, so she stays away, and then there are reasons why she comes back into his life, and I really loved how they fall in love again. It's a really, really good read, and I definitely recommend it. Yeah, especially if you like country romances, because cowboy type of romances. It's definitely a contemporary romance, but the way it's written is so darn good. Okay, and then 2 honorable mentions. Like I said, I have, other than these 5 that I'm listing here, I have 5 more that are on that book list that are linked down below. Please check it out. I loved all these 5-star reads. But 2 honorable mentions I'd like to just quickly also say is Untamed Delights by Suzanne Wright. It's book 8 in her series. I forgot, I didn't write down the series name. I'm sorry, Suzanne. But oh my god, I've loved this series. The first time I read this series was in 2012. And this one is just as good. This one is hilarious, it's adventurous, it's hot, it's steamy, it's about crazy, unique shifters. It is so good. I'll probably reread it again within the coming months because I just loved it that much. And then another one, I've been on a reverse harem kick lately, but this is the only reverse harem that I've actually given 5 stars to, and oh my god, I love the plot of it. It's called Full Contact, and it's by Casey Cole, and it's a sports romance reverse harem story, and I really love the plot line for this. It's spicy, steamy, and then it has a very believable plot line for a contemporary romance. It's awesome. Highly recommend it. So if you want to find out more about my thoughts quickly, because I'm not able to give you them all on my book list, please check them out down below. That is linked. Plus, there's another link that goes to talking more about where you can find all the other booktubers, their recommendations as well. So I'd like to thank Bree, Nichi, the Booktube Goddess, Stephanie, India, Nicole, Jennifer, and Serenity Dawn, thank you so much for helping me out with this video collab, and I really appreciate it and all the time that you guys spent in doing this for me. So I thank you so much. Please like or dislike this video if you want. I'd appreciate it if you like it though. Anywho, also comment down below if you have any book recommendations for us that you'd like us to hear about. What books were you thankful for in reading thus far in 2019? Since I know we still have a month left, you might find something between now and then too. Let's see, anything else? No? Stay tuned on this channel or any of my fellow collaborators' channels, because you never know what you'll get on our channels next. Take care.